People have been painting on stone for at least 15,000 years. And all across Scotland, there are a group of people who have taken up the art of stone painting, but with a purpose. Many of these people have never painted before, but have joined a group of stone painters with a mission to promote Scotland as a country and of Scotland's right to determine her own future, like virtually every other country in the world. Yes Stoners, as they are known, are a group of Scottish independent supporters who leave their painted stones for others to find and be inspired by. And in so doing, they are creating Scotland's Stones of Destiny. One such stone artist is retired business owner Derek Lammy from Hawick in the Scottish Borders. With the English border being just over 15 miles from Hawick, Derek regularly makes the trip to Carter Bar to place his stones at the border. This is a popular tourist spot for people crossing over the border into Scotland and into England in the other direction. Because of that, many of the stones Derek paints end up all over the world, from New Zealand to Canada and the USA to Japan. Whilst the number of visitors to Carter Bar is hard to assess, during the short time we were there filming, more than 40 cars, a tour coach and a group of bikers arrived, some stopping off for refreshments at the small cafe kiosk on the Scottish side. As Derek places the stones on both the English and Scottish sides of the border, he also ends up talking to many of the visitors who stop here for a photo of themselves at the border crossing, or to read the information boards.
And they usually come up here, put stones out every week, and I come back next.
He admits that stone painting has become something of a passion since retiring, and he discovered the hobby quite by chance.
Back in 2018, I joined the Independence pipe band, Sorrel Pipes and Drums, and I saw these stones. That was the first time I saw them. So after that I decided to start painting my own stones in my spare time, since I was retired and time to do things like that. So this is what I do. A lot of time I spend in here now painting stones. Listen to music, watching the telly and painting stones while paint's dry.
Although he has no previous artistic experience, Derek, like all the Yes Stoners throughout Scotland, has found the hobby absorbing.
Right, once the stones are dried, I start working my way through them. But the first thing I do is put the blue background for the Facebook logo. Once I get that done and that's dried, then I can put the F sign on it and information which is on what I call the B side. It then gets varnished, so the B side's finished, complete and shiny like that. Once that's done and it's dried, I then turn them over and do the A side, paint the base colours, things like this. There's no information on them yet. And once I've got that done, I put the flags on, or hearts or whatever I'm putting in there, and then I finish it off with the pens with information and final detailing until they get to the finished article.
Another Yes Stoner, Walker McGowan, a retired graphic artist from Maryhill in Glasgow, took up the hobby with a purpose after seeing it on social media.
I've been a graphic designer and illustrator for over 40 years, and I saw on Yes, it was on the media, Yes Stones on social media, and I thought that is a brilliant idea for Scotland. And I decided I'm going to get involved in this. So I decided, it was Alison, decided, great, that's a brilliant idea. It was her that started it, and I thought, right, I'm going to get involved in this. So I started jotting down some ideas for stones, and I joined Yes Stones and started planting them everywhere. Whenever I went to Greece, the Greeks got a few years. Now, they were quite happy with that, because Saltire, St Andrews, were their patron saints, so they loved it. And because you see the Saltire everywhere in Greece, So I used to plant them over there, or when I went up north in marches, would plant them. There was lawyers, not just me, there was lots of us doing it. So it was spreading the word for independence, which was fantastic. Whenever I went in a Yes March, used to even pick up the odd stone, get somebody else's stone, or they would maybe find mine. It was great, and then post it on social media if you found it. So it was spreading the word all the time. And I remember giving a Greek the stone. He went, yeah, and he loved it. He was delighted that we were actually putting the St Andrew's Cross on a stone and promoting it. So that was it. But my years in advertising, doing design and illustration really helped me, push me forward, because I could do a wee bit of hand lettering and illustrating, so it certainly helped me. What I usually do is do the background colour in an acrylic paint, or you can even use a thick Posca, which I did in this occasion, to do the background, and then I do the rest in Posca on top. After that's finished, I would usually varnish it. Some of them I haven't got round to varnishing yet because I keep tweaking them. I'm never happy sometimes.
For Norma Slimon from Thornhill in Dumfriesshire, she became involved with Yes Stoners after friends she was visiting invited her to try her hand at stone painting.
It was early 2019 and I had a couple of friends, Brian and Christine, and I went to visit them in Cumbernauld, and they said, "Do you want to paint some stones?" And I thought, okay. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I was sat there, they gave me stones, Posca pens, paints, and I thought, what on earth am I going to put on this stone? And they'd explained what Yes Stones is about. So I painted about 3 of them, and I thought, this is great fun. And it was so therapeutic. So I bought myself some gear, and that was it. I've been doing it for 5 years now. So, and I can tell from my early stones, they're rough as anything, really rough. And now I do the backs of them, and I'm really particular about how I put the paint on and stuff. But yeah, and the best thing about it is that it's got my creativity flowing, because I'm now doing photography, I'm learning the flute, I'm doing proper painting, little portraits and things, so it's just been great. And we raise money for food banks, and I think that is the main thing, apart from getting positive independence messages out.
Norma has painted hundreds of stones since taking up the hobby.
I reckon it's really hard to count. I have tried, but I did do 600 stones in 2019 for St Andrew's Day, and every time there's a march I probably produce about a batch of about 40 stones, so I reckon there's a good few thousand anyway. What I do is the bulk of them tend to go to rallies and marches, and they go on the Yes Stones cairn, where people give donations for them. But occasionally, like now, I'm doing a little Dumfries series. So I've got Rabbie Burns, I've got Ecofec and Tarts, I'm doing Criffle, and I will plant them locally. I prefer to do it in towns where there are more people and there's more chance of people seeing it. Like with my Rabbie, I'll probably actually plant him a Burns statue in Dumfries when I'm there tomorrow. So yeah, they get planted everywhere.
As well as supporting Scottish independence, for Norma another motivation is her love of free community art.
I'm really into the aspect of free community art. So I get quite a buzz out of painting stones and just leaving them somewhere, maybe outside the shop or and people sometimes actually, because I like to put on the back of the stone that it's yes stones, and with a little Facebook logo. So and some people actually find them and go onto the Facebook page and say, "Oh, I found this lovely stone in Dumfries the other day," which is really lovely. I've also done other batches of stones for fundraisers. People have asked me when, with the Ukraine war, I do some for the Dumfries Palestine Solidarity group, and I did a big batch for them, and I just asked people to make donations, and that's what happens. A lot of people go onto the Yes Stones Facebook page and say, "Can I buy this?" And we don't generally sell them. It's a free thing. But obviously, if people love our art and are inspired by that, at rallies we just say, if you'd like to make a donation, and people are incredibly generous. We raise hundreds of pounds, we've raised thousands of pounds for food banks, and that's the part I like. It's free art, it's affordable art. So if you're rich, you can put in 20 quid for one of these, or if you've not got a lot of money, 50p will do fine. So, and it does get the message across, I think. I've heard people saying, "Oh gosh, I didn't know that." Sometimes I put on paint on the stone that only 69% of the time has Scotland got the party it voted for in Westminster. And people say, "Gosh, I didn't realise that. Oh my goodness!" So I always like to have something, a wee bit of information that people go, "Ah, right." So this one says, "The only way for to hold on to the powers of the Scots Parliament is with independence. Independence is normal. Are you yes yet?" So, it's something for people to pick up on, and they can either agree or disagree. So yeah, that's it. And I like to do two-sided, so a pretty side and an informative side as well. So you use your base coat for this, and depending on the colour, for black you only need one coat, and you have to let that dry. It's just ordinary acrylic paint. And then you think about, what am I going to put on them? And you can go as simple as you can paint a stone blue and put a saltire on it, which I often do, and they're very, very popular. Robert Burns, I like to do that because I'm in Dumfries and Galloway, and he's a big guy up down this way. The Ecofeg tarts, that's another little regional delicacy in Dumfries and Galloway. And I'm doing Criffle. I have a lovely view of Criffle from my kitchen door. So I'm doing Criffle. It's still not looking like Criffle at all, but I will do that up, and I'll add to it a positive independence message. I also like this one, my Gingers for Yes. I got that pattern from a pair of socks that I got, and I just adapted it. I put a saltire scarf on her, and that's her. So, and I get a lot of inspiration from nature as well. So where's my goose? There's a goose. I do cats. I do an indie cat, who's a bit of a cartoon cat. I do cartoon crows. This is Don't Be a Goose, Vote Yes. Yeah, I just take inspiration from anywhere. And once you've decided what you're doing, you need to at least £100 worth of Posca pens in your possession. These become addictive, and they come in all sorts of colours, and they just write beautifully on stones. They're just wonderful. I do think I often wonder what happens to my stones when they're out there, and how they impact on people. I would like to think it's positive when you find a wee brightly coloured jewel as you're walking about your daily business. I know that they're great for conversation starters as well, if you want to actually talk about Scottish independence with someone who's a wee bit resistant, like my late mother and her boyfriend. I mind once I painted a whole batch of stones, and I thought we were coming up for an election and I was trying to influence their voting, and I just put them out. And they went, oh my goodness, look at those. And they were picking them up, and they all had wee slogans on them. So I was explaining to them, I said, look at this one. This is English Scots for Yes. That's a group of English people who support Scottish independence. And, oh, that's really interesting. And it really did influence them. It made them smile, for starters. They just really lit up when they saw them. And I know that they were both Tory voters. And I got them both to vote SNP for that election. That sadly was my mum's last election. But I don't know, they maybe just did it for me. But they really loved the stones. They really did like them. And I know a lot of people like them because they can display them in prominent positions from their own properties, and it's just, it's got to have an impact. You're going past something that says believe in Scotland every day, and you think, and suddenly you start to think, what am I believing in here? And right, okay. So yeah, I think I'd like to think that they do have a positive impact on people, and it gives them food for thought.
Norma's journey to Yes activism began in 2008 quite by chance.
I moved back to Scotland at the end of 2008 from London, and I hadn't even thought about voting or anything, and my neighbour said to me, are you into the SNP and Scottish independence? And I went, oh, I don't know. I said, I'm really not into nationalism of any type at all, but I'll go and have a look. And I came back to him and I said, yeah, civic nationalism, I'm into that, yeah, definitely. And I really like where they're coming from. So that would have been 2009. And then we got to the independence referendum. And of course I voted yes. And it was after that, when Nicola Sturgeon took over, that I just thought, I'm going to join the SNP and encourage them to go for this. I've been an active political activist ever since, and it's the first time in my life really that I've been politically active in mainstream politics.
As well as stones being left for others to find all over Scotland, many are also taken to various independence events, such as this one organised by All Under One Banner, which took place in Stirling in June. The march through the city ended at the Battle of Bannockburn Visitor Centre, where Yes Stoners Lynn Dugan and her husband ran the Yes Stone stall.
Hi, I'm Lynn Dugan, I'm from Yes Stones. The origins of Yes Stones were Alison Rollo, who's the founder member, was at an event in Pitlochry, and the paperwork was blowing away on the table. So they used some heavy stones that had been painted with the word yes on them to weigh the paper down. And somebody suggested to her, oh, that's a good idea, you should start a Facebook group for that. So Alison did that. She started a Facebook group, called it Yes Stones. That was in about July 2018. Now, I had been painting Yes Stones myself. I didn't know about this group, and it was a friend who said, do you know there's a Facebook group for that? So I was like, oh, found it and joined it. At that point in 2018, there was about 200 of us. Now we're up to close to £10,000. Sorry, and they're a very friendly bunch, as you can hear behind me. So we just paint stones, plant them about the place, the idea being that people will find them and start a conversation asking what it's about, and it's a non-confrontational way to have a conversation about independence, why it's normal. So it's just kind of grown from there. People across the globe have got these stones because people take them abroad and plant them. And then somebody suggested, a lady, Tina Wilde down in the Borders, had said, why don't we make a big slate display? Because we've been painting on slates as well. So that's what that was the initiation of that idea. The slates have been made, not these ones here, the big slate display behind me. I've got 27 different artists involved in it from across the country. That's been pulled together. And my husband and I, just because he has a van, have ended up being the sort of custodians of it, and we take it to marches and things. But it's a real draw for people because some of the artwork is incredible. Some people are not artists, there are some professional artists and some amateur artists who could easily be professional artists. So it's just a way of us having it's a kind of cultural thing as well. People don't feel threatened by a stone. Although we do see sometimes people have had their stones broken or slates broken, and that makes us think, well, the message must be getting through or worrying you if you're going to the trouble to damage a wee stone. But yeah, that's how it started, and that's how it keeps growing. So at one of the marches in 2019, people suggested, started offering us money, and we're like, no, we don't do it for money. We're doing it to spread the message. We ask people, if you pick up a stone you like, go home, paint 3 of your own, plant them out, and that way it would grow kind of organically. Some people said, oh no, that's really too beautiful. There's a lot of work has gone into that, and for some of them there really is. So we then started taking donations, and latterly the donations have gone to good causes, usually around the area of where we've been at the rally or march or whatever event we've been at. So to date we've raised over £7,000 that's gone in the main to food banks. A sad indictment in this day and age that we need food banks, but sadly they are, so we will donate to food banks.
With so many beautiful designs, it's perhaps not surprising that there are many people who now collect the stones as well.
Okay, so we've got lots of different artists that will create the stones. I've got one here, and as well as painting them myself, I'm also an avid collector of them. Unfortunately, Alistair Klein that created this couldn't be here today, but he's arranged for someone to drop it off. And we actually have quite a group of people who, because of health conditions or maybe distance, they can't make it to events, so they still feel they are contributing by creating the artwork in their own homes, and it's sent or collected and brought to the events, and they then see their artwork being collected at an event and shared on the Facebook page. So it's all part of the whole kind of process of it, being involved in this bigger movement. So I'll show you another one. So this is Joe McCann. Joe lives down in East Renfrewshire, and he's an older gentleman, shall we say, so not easy to come out to all the rallies and marches, but a superb artist, and they're really, really good. I personally have a collection of Yes stones in my house over the years, and I know my stones are with other people as well. We really enjoy that. So.
Mike's looking at
Founder of Yes Stones, Alison Rollo, says she's delighted, if not a little surprised, at just how quickly Yes Stones has grown since the group was founded in 2018. What gave Alison the inspiration to found the Yes Stones group?
Well, basically, around about 2017, maybe going into 18, everyone was starting up these Yes, the Yes Stones, all the Yes Pitlochries, Yes Air, Yes, So I thought, well, we need a Yes Pitlochry. So we gathered a few of the keen ones around and we set up a meeting in the local pub and we all agreed, yep, we're going to do it. And it was a hugely, hugely successful group. And we had pretty much every Saturday, or certainly every Saturday, second Saturday, we had a Yes stall in the centre of Pitlochry. And obviously we were looking to make funds because the idea was we'd create leaflets and put them around the local community. And so we needed funds for that. And I had been painting these for some time, just off my own bat. I thought, well, we do need to get the message out. And because I'm a sculptor and stones are my thing, I thought, well, why wouldn't I just paint them and put a message? And anyway, so I did. And by then I had probably about 50. So this one stall, I just put them out and I thought, well, I said, and I explained it was, this is please take one and please plant it wherever you would like to get our message out. And that was so popular, they disappeared in like about 3 seconds. So then the next time I said, please take one and please feel free to donate. Well, we were just getting so much money, particularly from the Europeans, because by this time it was the height of the tourist season. And the Dutch, the Germans, Italians, they couldn't get enough of them. And we were getting £20, £10 pushed into our thing. I think there was one week we had about £400, which paid for a lot of leaflets. So it was enormously successful. And really, I can't take any other credit than it was my idea and I did it. The real credit actually goes to the national newspaper, because I don't know quite what that came about, but I think one of the reporters had come to the stall and had asked if they could do a thing on me and the stones, and I said, oh, absolutely, of course, which they duly did, which they had a lovely page that they dedicated to my stones. And they said to me, have you got a Facebook page? And I said, Facebook page? No. And it was them that said, why don't you start one? So the credit for the Facebook page is not mine, but mine is the stones. And we set up the page. We now have just on 10,000. We call ourselves stoners. So we're all stoners, and literally, there must be hundreds of thousands of them out there. And I would have done well over 2,000 myself over the years, and they're all out there. And barring the odd unionist throwing them into the burn, they still get there and pass around and moved around all around the world. And of course people get them on, it's written on the back that it's Yes Stones, Facebook Yes Stones. So we get people from literally all over the place sending us a photograph of where they found them.
Alison admits to being quite surprised at just how quickly the Yes Stones concept grew.
It blew me away, I think I could actually say. It just went, and it totally took off. I think a lot of it was that we at that particular time, I think if you remember, we were doing a lot of marches all around the country. So what we were doing, we promoted it on our Facebook page to get people to bring their Yes Stones to the marches. Some of them were carrying all these stones. And at the end, we put a big saltire out and we did what we called our Yes Stones cairn. So we'd probably maybe have 200 or 300, 400 stones on the saltire, and we'd encourage everyone to take one home and place it, plant it, we call it planting, and plant it somewhere. So that in itself caused a lot of interest and promoted it. So it was great. It was and of course, through that, the stoners all made friends. So we became quite a close group. And people like Lynn Dugan and Neil Haston, They started off slates, and we all us artists painted a beautiful letter each, and it's got independence. Each slate has independence, yes, yes, yes for independence, and they make a magnificent display. And Neil and Lynn carry them all around the country and display them at the end of every march or gathering. They do a fantastic job, really fantastic job.
For all the Yes Stoners, whilst they find their involvement an absorbing and enjoyable pastime, their main motivation remains to get Scotland's independence message out to Scotland and the world.
I have support. I'm one of the absolute originals. I was part of a debating team at high school when I was 17 or 18, very much supporting Scottish independence, and joined the SNP at that point. So I'm one of you. I'm a pretty much lifelong supporter, and always will be. I mean, why would you let your neighbouring country rule you? Nothing against England, but why should they tell us what we can do and not do? It's that simple. I think all of us are very, very sad of what's happened in the last 10 years, and I'm not going to start naming names here, but there are a few people that I'm extremely unhappy about. I could go on for hours on that one. And I think we've had a terrible setback in the last 10 years, certainly the last 5 or 6 years. It's been wicked. It's been absolutely wicked. And now with Alex dying, I don't know. Funnily enough, I was discussing that with my husband this morning. I don't know what that could be a catalyst to change things, because I'm getting a feeling from on my Facebook. I mean, I've got about 3,000 or 4,000 friends on Facebook, and the feeling I'm getting is there's a lot of anger, and it's building up and building up, and I think it could be the start of a change of direction. I'm hoping so, because we need to change direction. Hopefully a couple of very good leaders. You'll never follow Alex. No one's going to be able to do that. But there is hope. Hope. We have to have hope. And in the end, I think it's all about, my own personal feeling is we should stop asking Westminster. I mean, it's nothing to do with Westminster, it's to do with us. And we just have to get those figures. And this, a lot of this is help. Hopefully, these stones will help to get a few more people saying, yep, we need to do this.
Derek Lammy has also been a lifelong independence supporter.
So independence for me is very, very important. I'm getting on now, but I've got 5 kids. I've got the grandbairns. I've got 6 great-grandbairns, and it's for them that I pursue all this, either through painting the stones or going independence marches or playing the bagpipes, the Independence Pipe Band. I can't see anything better for Scotland than being independent. That's when the money will start to work for Scotland instead of working for other countries. It'll be staying in Scotland. And the people I meet up the Carter Bar, they'd say the exact same. They can't believe Scotland's not wanting to be independent and voted against it. But that's because the other countries got tabs on us. We're a colony, really, of England. And most people in Scotland don't realise that. That's why they voted against it. It needs to happen, and it needs to happen as quick as possible. I want to see it before I pop my clogs.
Walker McGowan has similar motivations for his involvement with the Yes Stoners group.
So I've supported independence for a long, long time now. I've always read about it. We didn't get taught it at school, but I was reading stuff about Rob Roy and Wallace and stuff like that. I just loved Scotland. I just feel we should have been independent a long, long time ago. We should never have been part of a union in the first place. Scotland's got so much to offer. I mean, you just need to look at the inventions Scotland gave the world. I mean, I think it was Alistair Gray that said Scotland wouldn't just be better independent on its own, but it'd be better for the rest of the world too. For Scotland to be an independent country, because we've got so much to offer. Even Winston Churchill compared us to the ancient Greeks on independence, saying that I think it was something like second to ancient Greek. The ancient Greece, Scotland has offered more to the world than any other country. So fantastic, I love it. Why are we not independent? Scotland's a fantastic place. We're full of amazing people, and we're full of so many creative people too. I just love Scotland, and on our own we can do wonders.
This innovative group are literally creating Scotland's stones of destiny. If you've enjoyed this film, hit the notification bell for more great content from the Scotland channel. Please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information about the Scotland channel and how you can support us, please visit our website thescotlandchannel.tv.